in the rap industry, in the music industry in general. I have two stories that I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to talk about this one in particular on this video, and then I'll come back and talk about the other one. But this one really was gut wrenching to me. It really kind of knocked the wind out of my windpipe when I heard about it because Takeoff of out of the three members of the Migos, Takeoff is the most unproblematic member of the group. You never hear of him being involved in any type of controversy, any type of fights, any type of issues. He's more of the guy that sits in the background, of the group. Although a very talented rapper, he, is not the type of person to be involved. And in fact, he was not even involved in the altercation that ended his life. I think from what we can learn from this is you could be at the wrong place, wrong time, and wrong of people you're associated with. Just just by merely being associated with someone who's involved in problems can tragically lead to your own demise, even though you have nothing to do with it. And that's sadly what happened here. Man, I just feel so sad about this one because Takeoff is just, to me, such a sweet, unapologetic guy. He doesn't get involved in anything. I mean, you guys let me know if you've ever heard of any type of controversy with him. Anytime I've heard any issues in the Migos group, it's always either been Offset or Quavo. And sadly, not to blame anyone in the tragedy, but this whole tragedy was the result of Quavo being in an altercation with some problematic gang members, I believe, in the Houston, Texas area at a bowling alley. It's so sad. And we're actually going to look at a text message from a witness that was there. So Takeoff is actually the youngest rapper of the group. He's only 28 years old. He wasn't even involved in the game. So the shooting was the result of a dice game. Quavo was playing dice with a bunch of, other problematic individuals at a birthday party for another rapper. And this other rapper whose birthday party it was, for some reason, this guy always seems to be in the midst of some type of shooting. He was also involved in the shooting with the jeweler, where people kept blaming the other rapper, was that Louisiana rapper. Gosh, I forgot that guy's name. But there was a Louisiana rapper that kept getting blamed for the death of this jeweler when he wasn't even involved. It was actually this current rapper whose birthday party that everybody was attending. So, oh, this is such a sad one. So anyways, Takeoff wasn't even involved. He was just chilling in the background, sitting around, wasn't even playing in the dice game. Happened to hear an altercation between Quavo and the other group. They were fighting over this game. Quavo was bitter because he was losing a lot of money in the dice game. He felt like the other group was cheating in the game. And so he started getting aggressive. Then that group, he got aggressive with the wrong group, basically. This group got aggressive back. And so Quavo's support team or security, they tried to protect Quavo and opened fire and shot at the other group. Those stray bullets was but first shot and injured brutally. Just basically, that first shot by Quavo's own security, their security. I don't know if it's a security or team members, whoever they were, but they were affiliated with Quavo and Takeoff, and they opened fire at the other group. Now, Takeoff stood up just to find out what was going on. So he stood up, not knowing, and as he stood up, those stray bullets hit him either in the neck or the head. At that point, that took him out. His body fell limp. But as his body was falling, the opposing group shot back at Quavo's group, and another bullet struck Takeoff. So two bullets struck him. It is said that he allegedly was shot in the head and in the neck, two vital areas, which means he did not stand a chance. He instantly died at that point. There was no way of saving him. There's actually a very heartbreaking video. I've been in tears this whole morning, guys. I don't even listen to rap, but the rap I do like is Migos. That's one of the few rap groups I do listen to. I really love their Southern kind of music. They're just, to me, a very talented group. And it's very sad. They're family. They're related. So Takeoff is the cousin of Offset. And then Quavo is Takeoff's uncle. And sadly, Offset was in kind of like a discord with Quavo and Takeoff. He wasn't even talking to them anymore. He wasn't even a part of the Migos group, apparently. And so it's even more tragic for Offset because he never got to make amends with his cousin who is now gone. Oh my God, this hurts so bad, guys. And we hear a lot about rappers dying all the time, but this one hit me more than any of the other deaths because I just feel like Takeoff is so unproblematic. He doesn't get involved in anything. You never even hear, I've never saw one report where Takeoff was arrested or got into a fight or had issues with women. I don't even know if he's even dating. I don't even know if he has any kids. I don't think he has kids, but he just doesn't get involved in anything. It's just for him to be at the wrong place, wrong time, wrong associate. He sadly, when you're around certain people, even your family members who get involved in brawls when you're not a part of it, could lead to you innocently. And always the good end up dying. The sad thing is, the good people who aren't involved in problems always manage to be the ones that get taken out. And it's because of their innocence and their because they're so good of an individual that they don't guard themselves. They kind of are unguarded because they think everybody else is good, and they just because of that they don't have defensive mechanisms up. And so that's why you always hear that saying that the good die young, because they're so pure and so good at heart that a lot of times they don't take precautions in who they associate with and the environments they're around. And I'm not blaming anyone, but I really think, Quavo is one of the reasons why this happened, unfortunately, because he got into an altercation over money, over something that, when you get involved in gambling, you understand that there's a risk of loss. And he couldn't take that small loss and ended up costing the life of his cherished nephew, who he deeply loves. I don't know how he could even bounce back from this. I mean, there's a video of Quavo. You can hear Quavo in the background screaming, no, in the most devastating way. It like when you hear Quavo, you could tell that is a man in deep agony. It was the worst. It's painful, guys. I'm sorry to ramble on, but this one really hurts. So Migo rapper Quavo, desperate attempt to save his shot nephew, friends and family slammed senseless violence after Takeoff, who was 28 years old, was killed with a bullet to the head or neck in dispute over a game of dice. Some people say he was shot in both head and neck. Before we get into this article, though, I want to read some of the text messages, you guys, that this is from a direct witness involved. So we want to get it from the actual mouth of the person that was there. They blocked off the number, of course, because we don't want to, identify who the person was. But you guys have probably seen this text message floating around. This person spoke to one of the news outlets, and then this is the actual screenshot of his text. So he was there, and he said, so Quavo was shooting dice, and he was getting his pockets broke off. Bad. So dude had an attitude, and they're basically saying, so Quavo had an attitude, and he tried getting aggressive with the wrong mob tie, and they used the N-word. Not gonna drop names. So he got involved he got in a dispute with the wrong group, basically. And dude was getting on his ASS, meaning the other guy that he got in the brawl with was basically getting on the up and up in the dispute. Then somebody who was with Quavo jumped up, and that's when everybody bunched up, and then shots just started ringing. But they were coming from someone from the Migos camp. So whoever was in the Migos group stood up. Everybody was in this big physical brawl. They're kind of bunching up to fight each other. Then someone within Migos camp jumped up, and he began shooting wildly. He just was shooting all over the place. When you do that, that's a risk that there's stray bullets that can hit anyone in that room. It does not discriminate. And bullets don't have a name. So they're not going to sit there and say, okay, they're shooting at these adversaries, so we're going to go directly. No, bullets don't do that. They just, if you're not aiming, it's going to shoot everywhere. So he's shooting wildly, the person in Amigos group, and then the other group starts shooting back. So they're both shooting at each other now. And he said, I think he got hit again. And so this is what happens. Basically, as the first shot rings out in the Mingos group, this is when Takeoff stands up. because he's not even a part. He's just in his own world, whatever he was doing. He could have been even been on his phone, you know. And then he hears this brawl open up and there's people bunching together. So he just stands up to find out what's going on, to inquire. Once he stands up, he's shot by a stray bullet. And then when the other group responds, then he's shot again. And when he's shot that first time, his body falls. That's what this says. They said, I think he got hit again, but ultimately his own camp, basically, I'm not going to say the N word, killed him because when he got hit the first time, I seen his body just drop. That's what the text message says here. His body went limp when he was shot. And he was shot again in vital areas, either in the head or the neck or both areas. There's kind of discrepancies on where both shots landed, but there's indications that he was shot both vital areas of the neck and the head. And then he said Quavo was plexed up over small stuff. I'm not going to say the cuss word. It really wasn't worth it. And it wasn't. At the end of the day, when he looks back on this, he's going to realize, you know, what a fool he was, because he got mad over money that it didn't really matter. This man was rich. They are rich. They have millions of dollars, you know. Just losing at a little dice game really shouldn't have been a big issue. But when you have men involved in these gambling, when it comes to money, they just get their, you know, they get their heads wrapped around it. And Takeoff, as you guys need to know, Takeoff was one of the coolest, quietest guys. And he was like that in this situation, as this text message says, is that he was the coolest, quietest guy in the room the whole time. Probably in his own little world, wasn't even playing, you know, just chilling in there, you know. He wasn't saying a word. He was just chilling in the cut, like meaning he was chilling in the background, wasn't even a part of the whole brawl. He didn't even know what was going on, you guys. That's the sad part about it. He didn't know anything that was going on. He just was wrong place, wrong time. And sadly, wrong family member, as sad as it is. Sometimes being around the wrong people can cost us our life, unfortunately. And a lot of people are in pain right now. I'm going to try to, hold on, let me block this out real quick, guys. Real quick, sorry. I'm going to get to the next video. I have to block this out because it has some of my personal information on here. So before I get to this stuff. Okay. Now this part here is from Instagram. This is Gossip of the City T, who says Takeoff never saw it coming. He was hit with a stray bullet in the head. And these are people that were there. So we're getting it directly from the mouth of people there, because sometimes when you go to the news outlets, a lot of those news outlets don't know what's going on. And so you're going to get very vague, incomplete information. So we like to go to the kind of the underground places, like, you know, social media and different stuff like that, to get the direct information. So he was shot with a stray bullet in the head. I think that was the first shot. Very first stray bullet was straight to the head, which is why he fell. And he died instantly, I believe. At that point, he was already dead. It was an accident. This is sad. It's a tragic accident of how he died. The people he was with did it while trying to protect Quavo, who was getting into a brawl with another guy over a dice game. Quavo was getting hit and getting mad, meaning Quavo was losing the dice game. He was losing a lot of money, people were saying. And that's what led to Takeoff dying, sadly. See, being around the wrong place, wrong time, wrong people. And this is his family. You know, he was just hanging out with his family. Good person, never caused any problems. And if you look at this photo here, this is a live actual photo. Sorry, I can't get too close up, guys. I wish I could. But here, this photo here is really small. But there you could see that is Quavo. And he's actually, this is the actual photo of the actual environment where they were. And he was mad at that very moment as he's playing the dice game. This is the exact photo of him playing the dice game. And those were the people all involved in that room. So it was a pretty big, heavy group of people all involved in this dice game. And, you know, you don't see any Takeoff anywhere in there because Takeoff wasn't playing the game. He was just kind of hanging out. So Houston show about to be a no-fly zone because mob supposed to be protecting these artists. And so people are saying that allegedly the Migos checked in with the mob. They checked in with their, because you know, usually when these rappers go to different places, they have to check in with certain groups in order to have protection when they're around, because if not, they don't have protection and things tragically happen, like what happened to PMB Rock because he didn't check in. But in this incident, there's allegations that Migos did check in. They were with the protection they had. Problem is Quavo got himself in, some pride over the love of money and got mad over small stuff and cost the life of his friend tragically. Oh, we're going to talk about that one later, guys. Sorry. And the thing is, Takeoff, guys, he never said a word to anyone. He wasn't even involved. That's how sad it is. He didn't say anything to anybody. He just was there. He was chilling in the cut, minding his business. He stood up to see what was happening, and that's how he died. And then he got hit. So he stood up as the bullets were flying randomly. And they believe he was hit twice, the witness says. So I believe it's both the head and the neck, and that's what's floating around, that he was shot both in the head and the neck. Once by the dude who was with him, his own entourage, and once by the other people who were shooting back. The headshot killed him immediately. That is what is being said about the tragic loss of Takeoff. And there's a close-up photo of the actual scene that is actually Quavo, and these are his affiliates and people all involved, and they're playing the dice game right here. You could see the live photo of the actual incident here. So sad. So sad, guys, because, Quavo just did an interview last week, you guys, talking about how he wanted his flowers. And for the first time, because, Offset's not in the group anymore, for the first time, he really shined on his new album. They just released a song called Messy. And for the first time, Takeoff got to shine because he's always in the background, always in the shadows. Nobody really gives him his flowers. They're always, talking about Quavo and Offset, but they never really talk about Takeoff. And Takeoff said in this interview very recently, he said, "Before I die, I want my flowers." And people were giving him applause for his, raps on the new album. And the very eerie thing is, he said, "Before I die, I want my flowers." And he just said that, guys, last week in an interview, and now he's dead. It's like, wow, this is horrible. This is so sad. Like you like the words you speak out, and then immediately he died. Like, man, that's crazy. He says, "Before I die, I want my flowers," and then he dies a week later. It's so sad. Didn't even deserve it. He was one of the good ones. This is an actual, oh gosh, I can't really show it, guys. Sorry. It's kind of blocked out. But here, right here, this is Offset. And he is hovering over the body of, I can't show the whole picture, guys, because he's laying on the ground, because you know how YouTube is. So I'll show you just this blurred part. But basically, here is Offset, the actual photo of Offset. And here on the ground is sadly Takeoff laying there lifeless. Wasn't even involved. He wasn't even in the room. He was out in the outside. So it's just like, that's the sad thing about it, man. How the whole thing unfolded is horrible. This was the very last story on Takeoff's Instagram. He posted this photo. This is a photo of him, his very last post, guys, 10 hours ago, or a little bit more than that. His last post of him smoking outside of the area where he was. So this is what he was last wearing. All the same clothes, everything. He was just out smoking. He wasn't even a part of the whole thing. He just chilling out in the back, this is so sad, guys. My heart is so broke. And then, so this is, the last story he will ever get from Takeoff is this photo. So sad, guys, man. So, I don't even know what to say. I'm heartbroken. I'm so heartbroken. Unjustified, unwarranted. There's horrifying pictures showing Takeoff lying on the floor, surrounded by a puddle of blood. That people, people always post and stuff like this. They're so insensitive. Tributes has flooded. People are all hurt around the world. The police did not name the rapper as the victim, but everybody's already confirmed it. And there's also 2 other people were shot in the crossfires. It was a woman and a guy, and they were in their 20s, and they went to the hospital in private vehicles. Their condition seems to be okay. That they said it's unknown, but there's been a recent report saying that they're gonna pull through, basically. So there's horrifying footage of this, guys. I wouldn't recommend watching it. It's so sad. You could hear Quavo screaming, "No!" It is so sad, guys. Oh, it was like so senseless. It wasn't even warranted. There was 40 to 50 people at this unknown location. Security guards who were there weren't even at the area, so they were no use. I don't know how they didn't come to the scene, but there was about 5 shots fired, guys, and they've got photos, sadly, of him lying on the ground. I don't want to put that up there, guys, but it's there. Footage shows desperate last moments of Mingo rapper Quavo desperately tried to help his nephew. And it was horrible. Horrible. Shot in the head and neck. There again, that's the last photo we'll ever see him post in his story. Dang, man, didn't deserve it. And there's a live photo. There is Quavo right there with his brother, his cousin. Sorry, nephew. Sorry, I'm so sad right now. I can't even speak, guys. Quavo bandmate, uncle of Takeoff, looked distraught as he knelt over his nephew moments after the shooting. So that was a live photo of it here. And then here you can see there is the last photo here of Takeoff alive at the event. There, taking a picture at the event. Last worn with these clothes. Wasn't even just chilling, you know. Takeoff 28 inside of the Texas bowling half hall. Sorry. Inside, let me read that again. Takeoff 28 posed inside of the Texas bowling hall with a friend before he was shot at 2:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Crazy, guys. And here is the actual live story that Quavo posted on his Instagram when he was headed to the birthday party with a group of people. And Takeoff wasn't even with them at this moment.
It was sliding through the town, man. Sliding through the town. Got the birthday boy. Yeah, we on the fifth. Yeah, the fifth boy. Like that, man. I got one for you now. I got a 6-1 coming home. I just bought a Tiger today.
Okay, hold on, guys.
I got a handler right here that she's my handler.
Oh gosh. So this has nothing to do with it. A picture. Here's a picture, guys, and that's a blurred out image of Takeoff right here on the ground. Somebody got a picture. Unfortunately, you know how they are. A picture from the scene reportedly shows Takeoff lying dead on the floor hours after he posted an Instagram story of him smoking, and that's him blurred out, sadly. The shooting came hours after he posted an Instagram story of him wearing the same outfit along with Playboy Cardi's song called Stop Breathing. 2 other victims were rushed to the hospital as well. Takeoff's real name is Kershnik Kari Ball. He had joined his uncle Quavo for a game of dice before the shooting. Witnesses and law enforcement said footage from the scene showed Takeoff lying on the floor while Quavo rushes to his side. A group started to gather around the injured rapper and tried to move him, which is a big no-no. I don't know why people do that. They did the same thing in the PNB Rock tragedy. If you guys seen that video floating around, they were like pulling his arm up and trying to move him, which you should never do when there's a shot victim. You need to try to do CPR and call 911. Don't move the body. That just makes it worse, and it could cause the bullet to move around and travel more, causing more grave injuries. But anyways, they were trying to move him, but quickly lowered him to the ground as Quavo screamed for help. It's so sad, guys. Video of the incident shows several women shouting to get inside, while another man can be heard saying, "I'm scared for you, bro." That's sad. I'm scared for you, bro. That's sad, guys. So sad. Migo was founded by Takeoff in 2008 with his uncle Quavo and cousin Offset, who was married to Cardi B. So they're all related. It's sad, a family affair and now gone. No, look, this is before it happened. That appears to be here, Takeoff right here, standing here before it happened. Takeoff pictured in white shirt and black pants can be seen here before the fatal incident in Houston. So see here, they're all standing here before the shooting happens. He's right here. He ain't even a part of it. Not even a part of it. So sad, guys. Footage shows, here, let's go here. There's a bunch of women out here, just all kind of stuff. I don't know what's up with Houston, Texas, but Houston always tends to have shootings over there. I don't know what it is about that place, guys. Footage shows Takeoff lying dead on the floor while Quavo, wearing an orange top or kind of a red top, rushes to his side and yells for some help. And there is Quavo right there. Quavo's right there. On the ground is, of course, sadly, Takeoff, and there's some women kind of, and there's the security guard here trying. They're all standing here in shock, not knowing really what to do. Unfortunately, oh, this is so sad, guys. My heart is broke. There's Precious Takeoff, Kershnik Kari Ball. Birth name was killed over a dice game. His life snuffed out during a frivolous dispute. He was 28 years old. We're praying for his family and all who are mourning, and we are committed to transforming our communities. So sad. And people are just responding. Some people said senseless killings need to stop. We talk about this all the time. He was so talented, guys. He was just now starting to shine in who he was. Always in the background, never recognized for the talent that he had. And now, for the first time, he was going to be getting his flowers in this new album with him and his uncle. And now he can't experience any of the wins he would possibly have had. I'm so heartbroken, guys. It just hurts so bad. This man did not deserve this. Rapper Takeoff of Migos performs at Rolling Loud Festival at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum on September 29th, 2019. This is just a photo of him there. Here's another tragic photo of the actual incident. Video of the incident shows several women shouting to get inside, while another man can be heard saying, "I'm scared for you, bro." And that is here live. There's Quavo. You can't really see Quavo, but he's right here. And then there's two women around him. Oh, gosh, it hurts. It hurts. And then someone said, "I'm in shock right now. Tributes pour in from the music community as rapper Takeoff is shot dead." Offset was not in Houston with his father and cousin. Was celebrating Halloween with Cardi B and their children. And again, they're kind of estranged. He wasn't talking to Takeoff or Quavo at the time. They were in a dispute about whatever happened. I don't know what happened between them. It might be in between a woman, Sweetie. They think that Offset slept with Sweetie or whatever. I don't know. There was some dispute they had and they weren't really talking. So that's the even more sad part about it, because Offset never got to make an amends with his family, guys. This is so sad. My soul is ripped out. I've been crying all morning, guys. I'm so sad. We hear about these rap stories all the time, but Takeoff, though, of all people, he doesn't cause any problems. He's so non-problematic. So 4 hours before the shooting, Takeoff posted a picture of himself smoking at the bowling alley. I hate when they are so repetitive. Tributes have been coming in. Yeah, people said that they remember Takeoff being, and this is from boxer Chris Ebunk Jr., who met Takeoff. He said, "I remember him being very down-to-earth, cool dude. Can't believe I'm having to say this again about another black star being killed for no reason, period. No reason. This was not justified. Something really has to change in the industry." And I don't blame the industry for this. We always blame the industry. Just because they're rappers doesn't mean that's why he died. He died because he was at the wrong place, wrong time. They were playing in dice games, which always tend to be very dangerous. There was another dice game that happened with a jeweler at another incident, and unfortunately, that ended up in a shooting. So it tends to be when they're in these dice games, things go awry. Things go awry. He didn't even stand a chance, guys. He just released his new album, so definitely listen to that. That's the last we'll ever have of him. Here is some last photos before the incident happens. You can see here with Quavo, with the birthday guy here, Jazz Prince. Jazz Prince is the rapper I was talking about that tends to be problematic. For some reason, Jazz Prince always tends to be in the vicinity of someone being shot over a dice game. So the jeweler I was talking about before, Jazz Prince was present at that same incident with the dice game, and unfortunately, the jeweler got shot. So I don't know what's up with Jazz Prince, but Jazz Prince always tends to be in the vicinity. I'm not saying it was his fault. I don't even say he was even involved in the shooting, but it's just weird that he tends to coincidentally be involved in situations where someone ends up dying over a dice game. But there is Jazz Prince. They're in a car headed to celebrate Jazz Prince's birthday. And Quavo had posted these on Instagram story of himself driving around Houston with Jazz Prince, who was celebrating his birthday hours before the tragedy occurred. And this is just people reporting on it. It's just very sad. Just cool dude. There is so sad. Look at him. He just never, no problem. No problem at all. Always in the shadows. We already know Offset and Cardi B. And yeah, there's a lot more on this story that is going to unfold, guys. And once a celebrity is involved, the law enforcement is going to go after this with every resource they have. So we will find out everything about this. And whoever is involved they will be tried under the law to the maximum penalty. So the thing is, once we find out the whole truth and who actually killed Takeoff, it's going to be pretty sad because it was from his own camp that ended up ending his life. So it's going to be pretty sad. Um, Kershnick was born June 18th, 1994. He never knew his father, who walked out when he was just a kid. And his earliest memories are of his uncle Quavo. So Quavo was kind of like a father figure to him. Quavo was born Quavius Kayate Marshall, and his cousin Offset his name is Kiari Kendall Cephas. That's the names of the family. His last moments came after an incredible family story where the three Migos who grew up in the mid 2000s would go from dropping out of Berkmar High School to building a $26 million fortune. So that's what I'm saying. Their $26 million fortune. Why fight over petty little loss, Quavo? Why? You have $26 million fortune. Just let it go. Now your nephew that you love so much, and we know they were very close. So this is like, I don't know. I can't even imagine what Quavo's going through. It's going to be one of the worst loss I don't know how he'll ever be able to rise above it, but one of the worst things he's going to have to try to cope with, and then he's probably going to be blaming himself, unfortunately. And all because of money he had so much money, and he was about to make a lot more money over this new album that they just released that I heard is pretty good. So, and the family, they moved across Georgia from Athens to Gwinnett when Takeoff was in elementary school, and Quavo was 3 years old, 3 years older than his cousin, and a year older than his cousin Offset. In middle school. So he kind of relocated to that area. So he was the youngest, Takeoff was. And after the move, they all three began living under the roof of Quavo's mother, Lubia, who worked as a hairdresser to look after the three boys. So they were all living with Quavo's parents, or Quavo's mother. She was a single parent. He said, I don't look at Quavo as my uncle, but more as my brother. But we always have clowned on each other, Takeoff explained in an interview with The Fader in 2013. He is my uncle, so I got to clown on him. You got to be funny. They're very close, guys. That's sad. So starting from 7th grade, Takeoff was the one who wanted to start taking rapping seriously. He approached his uncle in 2009, forming the group that would go on to become the Migos. So Takeoff, who was the quiet one in the shadows who tragically lost his life, was the one that kind of started the group. He's the one that encouraged the two to form this Migos group back in 2009 when he approached Quavo about it. So that's crazy that he was the one that led the whole thing and was the one really in the background and, led to their fame. Takeoff's voice came to life in the studio booth, a memory of him that remains the sharpest after his death on November 8th. He is described as the monotone in the interview. He is really kind of monotone. And look, that's them when they were younger. See? So sad. Takeoff's father left the family when Kershnick was in kindergarten age. The rapper who was killed in November 1st, never knew him. So that was them when they were kids. That looks like Quavo right there, and that looks like Takeoff right there. So sad, guys. So I could read this thing and go on and on and on. Maybe I'll come back and read the next parts if you guys want to hear more. We're going to follow up on that to find out. Actually, at the time of his death, Takeoff had been growing his dreads out for years. His mom, Quavo's older sister, was always his hairdresser. His mom was his hairdresser. He had nice hairstyles too. So his mom was doing his hair all those times as we saw him in his performances. He likes to work and mind his business, his mother said about her son when fans tracked down her Twitter account in 2018, according to Sandra Rose. He doesn't like to be involved in a lot of things. He just likes to make good music for the family, or for the people, for the people. So, like I said, he just likes to make music. So, guys, just please pray for this situation. It's so sad. I'll probably come to a part two to read the rest of this article later on, but just pray for this family. I'm so heartbroken. Take care, guys.